Mystery Egg Tea Blind Frog Ranch. The screen opens with a sweeping drone shot of Blind Frog Ranch. The high desert of eastern Utah stretches endlessly under a brooding sky. Wind kicks up red dust that dances across the cracked earth. The barren terrain hides secrets, secrets buried deep beneath stone, secrets men have chased for centuries. Thunder growls in the distance. The camera pushes in slowly toward a jagged canyon wall. Nestled at its base is the entrance to a long-abandoned mine, sealed for decades, hidden from view. The wooden beams are weathered, nearly collapsed. An ancient padlock dangles from rusted chains like a forgotten warning. The Discovery Channel logo flickers at the bottom corner. A subtitle appears. Blind Frog Ranch. Day 7 of the new excavation. A shadow crosses the entrance. Boots crunch over the gravel. A crew of explorers, clad in heavy gear and hard hats, prepares to breach the mine. They move with silent determination. No speech, only the raw sound of steel meeting stone, the clatter of gear, the hum of tension. A crow caws and lifts off from a nearby branch. Ominous. Inside the mine, the camera adjusts slowly to the darkness. The air is thick, ancient. Moisture drips from the ceiling like a ticking clock. Every footstep echoes through tunnels carved by hands long gone. Shafts of light pierce the gloom, illuminating markings on the wall. Pickaxe scars, old rail tracks, and symbols drawn in charcoal. An old lantern is discovered, half buried in gravel. Its glass cracked, its metal corroded. A close-up reveals initials carved into the side. JR 1913. The camera lingers. Then the screen flickers, revealing a new location deeper inside. Something glints. The team halts. A handheld UV light flashes across the wall. Beneath the surface dust, faint veins of something metallic pulse in purple-blue hues. A handheld scanner chirps to life. Magnetic anomalies off the charts. One of the crew members kneels, brushing away centuries of dirt. A narrow seam of quartz appears, and with it, the unmistakable shimmer of pyrite. Or is it gold? Suddenly, the mine groans. The team freezes. A slow rumble builds, distant but growing. Dust sifts down from the ceiling. Camera tight on their faces, tense, alert. They step back carefully, tracking the vibrations to a wall that seems different from the rest. Smoother, reinforced, almost intentional. Team sets up equipment. Infrared scanners begin mapping the wall's density. A digital display flashes irregular voids behind it, hollow pockets, hidden chambers. Flashback overlay. An old map, tattered and sun-bleached, superimposed on the current view. Hand-drawn lines. A red X. The wall matches a location marked No Entry. Cut to drilling rig assembly. No words. Only the mechanical symphony of work. Bolts tightened. Cables winched. Drill head lowered. The bit begins to bore through rock, shrieking as it punches through resistance. Dust billows outward. Eyes squint through goggles. The wall collapses inward. A wave of stale, cold air surges out. The camera enters the breach. What lies beyond is unlike the mine before it. This chamber is lined with stone that doesn't match the surrounding geology. Polished blocks, mysterious carvings, a stone basin in the center, crusted over with mineral buildup. The camera pans slowly across the chamber. Along one wall, shelves of petrified wood. On another, collapsed crates. The crew brushes one open. Inside, canvas bags marked with faded Spanish lettering. They lift one bag. The contents spill slowly. Gold dust, not pyrite, not fool's gold. Real. The crew freezes, breath visible in the cold air. The camera zooms in on their trembling hands. Something shifts in the shadows. Motion sensor alarms ping softly from a handheld monitor. One by one, they all turn. A faint movement at the edge of light. They raise their headlamps. A wall behind them has closed. Not collapsed, moved. A hidden door. Panic doesn't set in, but urgency does. They scan the room, searching for another exit. At the far end, a narrow passage, low and winding. One member crawls through first, camera attached to helmet. Tight, claustrophobic. Scratches line the walls, as if someone, or something, had tried to claw their way out. The tunnel opens suddenly into another chamber. This one natural, a cave system that appears untouched. Water glistens from stalactites. In the center, a pool of still water, so clear it's almost invisible. They approach. A drone is lowered into the water with lights and cameras. As it descends, the pool seems to stretch endlessly. At 40 feet, the drone spots something, metal glinting at the bottom. A shape, a chest, a weapon, unknown. The feed cuts out. The team scrambles. Backup batteries. Alternate signals. Nothing. The drone is lost. Above ground, the storm that had threatened finally breaks. Rain slams the desert floor. Flash floods sweep through dry channels. The entrance to the mine becomes a river. Inside, continues. Unaware, their headlamps flicker. One goes out entirely. The mysterious passage now feels hostile. Cut to black. Then, slow reemergence. The crew ascends back through the mine, soaked, exhausted, but carrying samples, quartz, metallic fragments, a sealed artifact case wrapped in cloth. The sun breaks through clouds as they exit the mine, their silhouettes emerging from the shadows. A wide shot. The mine behind them, now visibly changed. The water has uncovered more openings, more potential. Cut to laboratory setting. No voices, only close-ups. Hands in gloves open the artifact case. Inside, an old Spanish coin, encrusted but unmistakable. Dated 1789. Next to it, a carved frog idol, remarkably similar to those found at Mesoamerican sites, yet out of place in Utah. Is it evidence of pre-Columbian contact? Or something stranger? A magnifying lens reveals something else. A map burned into a strip of parchment, folded, and hidden in the idol's base. The map shows the very landscape they walked, but with paths marked in symbols, not words. One symbol, a frog. Another, a triangle. Dust curled into the dry Utah air as the 4x4 crept along the forgotten trail. The tires crunched over shale and weathered rock, weaving through a maze of juniper and sagebrush. Hidden deep within the Uinta Basin, Blind Frog Ranch loomed ahead, silent and weather-worn. Generations had passed since the mine on the property had last tasted the light. Its mouth, half swallowed by the mountain, looked more like a warning than an invitation. The team had returned to investigate an old lead, a legend passed from miner to miner, then nearly lost. Somewhere inside the abandoned mine was said to be evidence of something more than just mineral wealth. Whispers of buried treasure and hidden chambers had persisted through decades of doubt and silence. Now, with modern tools and a renewed sense of urgency, they were determined to uncover the truth. Pale rays of sunlight filtered through the jagged peaks, casting fractured shadows as the crew set up base near the entrance. A low hum of machinery began to pulse, generators feeding power to drills, scanners, and lights. From the very beginning, the air felt heavy, tinged with something more than dust, as if the mountain itself guarded secrets too long buried. The entrance to the mine yawned like a forgotten wound in the rock, shored up with old timber supports, each beam etched with decades of decay. Cautiously, they entered. The walls, lined with mineral veins, shimmered subtly in the lantern light. Traces of quartz, calcite, and iron suggested the passage had once yielded valuable ore. But it was deeper inside, beyond the reach of memory, where the story turned strange. Their ground-penetrating radar had revealed an anomaly, an unnatural void several meters behind a collapsed section. The readings were inconsistent, distorted, as if something interfered with the signal. Still, the void had defined edges, straight lines, corners, not natural, man-made. The digging began slowly. Rocks were moved one by one to prevent further collapse. Time and patience weighed heavily. At one point, a miner's pick unearthed a black stone, dense and glossy. Not obsidian, not coal. It sparked faintly under light, veins of gold-colored flecks dancing across its surface. They paused to examine it, brushing away the dirt, their breath fogging in the chill air. The stone was heavy, its density unnatural. A fragment of something larger. Behind it, a narrow shaft descended at an angle. Not part of the original mine plan. This was older. Carved by hand, perhaps by desperate men. The walls bore scratch marks, old, faded, deliberate. Symbols etched in patterns, like ancient writing. Some resembled Spanish script. Others were unrecognizable, almost indigenous or arcane. The deeper they went, the stronger the sense of being watched became. Far below, the tunnel widened into a low chamber. The walls gleamed faintly, reflecting light in strange ways. A shallow pool had formed from mineral-rich water dripping from the ceiling. At its edges, clusters of metallic crystals glinted, pyrite perhaps, but intermixed with finer, softer particles. Gold. Definite. Real. Embedded in the walls, in the sediment. Not just trace. Enough to make even the most skeptical pause. The chamber held more than gold. Embedded in the far wall was what looked like a sealed box, rusted and half-fused into the stone. Its edges were ornate, its face carved with symbols matching those in the tunnel. They tried to open it, but the rock held it fast. Around the box, the air was warmer. Not much, but enough to notice. A thermal scanner confirmed it. This section emitted a faint heat signature, out of sync with the surrounding mine.